When I started the progress of this video, I knew I wanted to use a Hunter Huntsman doll, and I wanted to use some of his original clothing in it because I really like his style. And I already knew what color of hair I wanted to use because I thought it was quite nice. But the theme was completely up for debate. After he was stripped down and completely naked, it was time for the reroute. And I ordered a bunch of hair from Retro Dolls, originally for a Christmas doll. And yeah, we will see. Maybe she will grace us with her existence before Christmas is hitting us. Maybe not. I'm a bit lazy lately. So, but this was a little bit too intense for what I intended for the Christmas project, so I used it on this guy. And I really like it. Surprise! Yeah. Oh, and I will leave everything in the order I did it when I made this custom, just to show you how my brain sometimes works. Is that something you are interested in? I don't think so, but you will see. You're welcome. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm sorry. But doesn't matter. I decided that the hairstyle will be more or less the same, but I gave him some sideburn things and a beard. And then I put glue everywhere, and in the end the beard wasn't staying. I ripped it out when I freed him from the cling film, so bleh. And while I was giving him his punk-ish hair, I thought, ooh, I have a fabric from another project, and I want to use it for pants. Because, yeah, it's kind of nice for punkish pants, I thought. And so I did. And though this is wool, it was quite heavy and difficult to work on because I don't have any chalk. So I tried to just take the patterns, copy them sometimes, and use them instead of markings on the fabric. It worked, but it was a little bit wonky and not the best idea, and I think maybe I should have seen that before, but I tried it anyways, so you don't have to. And you shouldn't, because it's not very funny to remove all the paper after you are done sewing. Yeah. The sewing process for the pants was quite easy. First, I stitched together the center seams of the front and the back. Then I sew all the outer seams together from the left leg and the right leg. I hemmed everything and closed it in one row in the middle of the pants. Yes, I think it's the easiest way, because you can only hem doll clothes by hand if you don't do it this way. And I'm lazy. The pants were halfway done and I decided he definitely needs a belt. So I took out a leather strap, made some holes into it, made a tiny little buckle out of wire that I hammered down a little bit so it's not as bendy anymore. Then I used these little things to put everything together, and I can't remember the English name for them at the moment, but I think you know what they are made for. You put them together, you hammer them down, so they hold everything together and are not able to be removed again. What a great description of these little fellows. Yeah, and while I was working on this, I thought, oh, some more buckles and some more belts, and I more or less had an idea of where I want to go with him. I decided on something that was, yeah, a little bit like wasteland cyberpunk stuff. I don't have a lot of, yeah, knowledge about these topics. The only thing I know is my brother loves it, and so I just went with what I thought it would look like, and in the end, my brother told me that I achieved my goal more or less in a good way. It may come as a total surprise, but this little fella won't join the shirtless club of guys that I already made. And yeah, I had a t-shirt in mind that was torn apart and shredded to pieces. So I just took out his original shirt, made a pattern out of it, and out of t-shirt fabric I made another or new shirt for him. And while he was wearing it, I took out some scissors and just went a little bit wild on it. But it looks quite nice in the end. And we have a little bit of chest action now, so maybe he will join the nearly nude club. Originally, at this moment, I had in mind to make a vest for him, but I wasn't able to find my black faux leather, and then it came to me that his hoodie is quite nice too, so why not use that thing? But the original Hunter doll has something greenish, like a second shirt under the vest hoodie thing, and yeah, I decided to remove that. Which was quite tricky because I didn't want to make the seams again, so I just cut off the sleeves, and with some tweezers I removed every little fiber that was still there. Was quite interesting. And though we are still in the time of the coronavirus, he needed a breathing mask, of course. After the main portion of the clothing and accessories, I decided now it's time for the face up, and yeah, just started with some browns and shaded everything, and then there was the point where I thought he will be quite dirty because he lives in a wasteland situation. So maybe he won't bath that often, so don't be too accurate with everything and just slap on some browns and stuff, and if it's not totally detailed and nice, it will look more like dirt, so everything is fine. And so I went a little bit ham on him, and I really enjoyed this. And yeah, then I tried to make the eyes happen, and they started out quite nice, but when I was finally finished with the face up, I wasn't completely sure how much I like them, and I'm still not completely sure. Maybe there will come a day when I will change his eyes a little bit, but maybe not. Um, I just went with how he looked, and it is fine. I did worse, but I did better too, so not completely sure what to think of his eyes. When all the repaint parts were done, I gave him 2 sprays of MSC because I already knew that I had to boil his hair down. Yeah, had to get his hair down with boiling water. And while removing the cling film and the pins and everything, his beard just straight fell out. Which was a little bit of a bummer because now I had a non-shaded chin with some very not so handsome holes in it. But I found a way to hide it. And it's not the mask. It's something else. In the end, he has a beard again. Psst! I didn't spoil you. Yeah. As some finishing touches, I removed all of his clothes from the body and just went a little bit wild with the black to give him some, more greasy stains and let him really get the look that he isn't the one who baths all the time. And while this was drying, more or less drying, the MSC was drying. You know what I mean. I took the clothing items and sanded them down a little bit to make them look a little bit more warm, and especially with the pants I was a little bit not so happy about it, but it looks better in the end, so I had to do it. Because let's face it, when you live in a wasteland situation, it's not the most possible situation that your clothes are completely new. Yeah. Then I gave his breathing mask a bit of dry brushing with gold, just to give it a little bit more interest. I had this lantern lying around that I just decided would look nice on him, and to make it look a little bit more old, I put some orange and reds on it to make it look rusty. Yeah. Then it was time to put him back into his clothing again. And when I was finished with dressing him up, I thought his look really comes together. And then it was time for me to cut his hair. And I like to say it again, I may be a hairdresser, but I don't like cutting doll hair. And styling it is something I don't like too. But I did. And I did it in the in the laziest way possible. I just tried to cut a shape that is a little bit shorter in the back and longer in the front. And after that was done, I just took out sections of it and a little bit like weaving out some highlight parts. I took out some strands and cut them quite short, just to have some hair that is shorter, some that is longer, so the shorter hair can support the longer hair, because I already planned to give him kind of a mohawk. Hawk. And yeah, then I styled him with some textile glue, which went insanely well. And yeah, then I took out some yarn that I had laying around from another project. I can't even remember. Made some flocking out of it, glued it onto his head and onto his chin because, you know, and I glued a little bit of it on his chest because I thought he's looking a little bit too flat there to get a detail there, but I decided to remove most of it later again. Yay! And with that, I could put his hat back on, and then his mask, and he was completed. And yeah, I was quite happy with him, I have to say. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this totally out of my comfort zone doll. And yeah, have a nice time, and we will see us next time, hopefully with a Christmas doll. I hope I will be able to finish her. Bye.